All right, guys, welcome to First and Goal. I'm your host, Flavio Ariano, brought to you by Four Corner Sports. All right, guys, so, guys, reading the header, the title, Doug Pederson, the most hated man in New York City. I mean, that's just facts right there because you know what? The stunt that he ended up pulling off yesterday and the lies that he said in that press conference after the game was over. Oh, man, I don't know how I should be feeling. I get what he ended up doing, but then I also don't get it too. But yeah. So we're gonna go straight into this story. All right. So the NFC East was up for grabs yesterday, and wow, I gotta say that Giant Cowboy game was everything. I mean, it was neck and neck to the wire. I mean, Daniel Jones is trying to get the win so he can get one step closer into getting to the playoffs. And then you have Andy Dalton, who is trying to get the Cowboys into the playoffs. Remember, he ended up signing, I forget, it was like a 1-year deal, maybe a 2-year deal, a contract with Jerry Jones, and there was incentives. There was incentives that if he got into the playoffs, he was going to get more money. If he got for every round he ended up getting into the playoffs, he would get more money on top of that too. So it's not like the Cowboys were trying to, like they say, shit the bed. They were actually trying, all right? And Andy Dalton was trying to get that cash. But Leonard Williams, guys, Leonard Williams looks like a problem. He looks like a problem because of the fact that he's pretty much unstoppable. He is playing to the potential of what he ended up getting drafted by when he was with the Jets, right? And he never reached that potential when he was with the Jets. But Lord, Leonard Williams looks unstoppable in that Giants uniform. And I can only imagine, how high they're going to have him on their priority list to resign him. Because, yeah, the way that he ended up playing, he was sacking Andy Dalton and he was pressuring, that Cowboys offensive line. Look, that offensive line is not like what it used to be, but it's still pretty decent. And for Leonard Williams to blast his way into, getting closer to Andy Dalton, I mean, he applied a whole ton of pressure. I mean, back in 2015, he was drafted number 6 overall by the New York Jets. And you know what? He's playing to that hype. He's playing to that number 6 overall, draft status. And it came down to the final drive for the Cowboys, and there was pressure. The pressure came from the right side. Leonard Williams ended up doing a spin move and applied a bunch of pressure, and then Andy Dalton just chucks it. Terrible mistake. Xavier McKinney cuts in front of it. I forgot who was in front of him. I don't know if it was CeeDee Lamb or if it was Michael Gallup. Cuts in front of one of them and then gets the interception. Smartly, what he ends up doing once he got the interception, just lay down, and then that's it. A couple plays later after that, Giants trying to go for the first down with Wayne Gallman. After he got the first down, it would have been smart for him to try to, give himself up, let somebody, touch him with 2 hands, so considered downed. Ends up bobbling the football, and it causes a huge controversy right over there. Do the Giants have possession of the football? Do the Cowboys do? One judge says the Cowboys, one judge says the Giants. At the end, it showed replay that Wayne Gallman did have full possession of the football, Giants football. But let me get you, backtracked. There was a play on the previous Giants drive where Daniel Jones ended up throwing a pass to Dante Pettis, right? Throwing a pass to Dante Pettis. Dante Pettis ends up, diving for the ball. And as he's diving, he catches the ball. But the tip of the football ends up hitting the floor, causing the ball to move inside Dante Pettis' arms. So that should be considered it's not considered a catch at all. It should be considered incomplete. Mike McCarthy, I have no idea what he was doing. He was, sleeping maybe, pretending that he's getting a massage. I don't know what's he doing, but he didn't see that play in time. In my opinion, if he would have called it, right on the money, if he would have thrown the red flag, refs would have been like, hey, we see that Dante Pettis didn't catch the ball correctly. It would have been an incomplete pass, and then who knows? It probably would have forced the Giants to punt the ball. But the fact that that catch ended up leading into the Giants getting a field goal by Graham Gano, that was the death sentence right there for the Cowboys. So the Cowboys are officially eliminated after that. After the Giants ended up regaining possession after the Wayne Gallman fumble. So now the Giants have to wait to see if who's going to be the winner between Philadelphia and Washington. If you're a Giants fan, you want, Philadelphia. Of all teams, yes, of all teams, our most hated rival to win the football game. Now, mind you, Carson Wentz is not playing, and Alex Smith is making his return. What is it called? Taylor Heineke, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He was originally supposed to start, but Alex Smith got cleared, so he's starting. So, season is on the line at this point for Washington. Alex Smith gives you the highest probability chance of winning the football game, and he's going against Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts and Alex Smith both were looking good in the first half. Jalen Hurts ends up scoring 2 rushing touchdowns. I mean, I would say that Jalen Hurts was looking more good on the feet. Well, it was definitely on the feet, but his passing, it needs to get a little bit better. But there was a lot of questions just because Doug Pederson ended up scratching Miles Sanders, ended up scratching, Deshaun Jackson, and it's just like you're handicapping right now Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts at this point, he needs all the reps as possible to see what you have moving on forward. And the nerve that Doug Pederson has by not kicking the field goal. It's 4th and goal, right? The game is tied. The game would have been tied 17-17. Eagles are down by 3. He wants to go for 4th down. Fine. I'm thinking, all right, cool. Gets the 4th down. At that point, Eagles will be up 21-17. Nope. Has Jalen Hurts, going towards his right, and he has nobody open to throw the ball. I'm sorry, he went to his left. That was different. Yeah, he went to his left, and ends up throwing the ball, and the ball's too short. No protection whatsoever. At that point, Washington football's ball. And I'm like, all right, cool. Eagles have a chance. Nope, not at all. You know what Doug Pederson ended up doing? Doug Pederson ended up pulling Jalen Hurts out of the game. Didn't even give him a chance so he can break it down to see how much does he have, because Washington right now is desperate. They're trying to get this win knowing that the Giants ended up winning. If Washington was to lose, the Giants will go to the playoffs and they'll face Tampa Bay. But what Doug Pederson ended up doing, he ended up pulling out Jalen Hurts in favor for a guy that hasn't played in 3 years. In favor for the immortal. Yes, I said it, the immortal Nate Sudfeld. The legendary Nate Sudfeld is taking the reins in place of Jalen Hurts. And what did Nate Sudfeld ended up looking like? Hot trash, guys. You look like hot trash. All right? Look, I am no professional quarterback, by no means necessary. But I could throw the ball down 30 to 40 yards. Yeah, 30 to 40 yards down the field. All right? With proper technique. Sure, I'm probably going to feel a sore shoulder in the next morning. But you know what? I can still throw the football. This guy didn't even know what the hell he was doing. He was a deer in headlights. All right? Running around. All right? He ended up throwing the ball like as if he had like T-Rex hands. He was like half throwing the football. And I have no idea what he was trying to do. He threw an interception. He was just like having all his receivers do a fade route. For what? For what? It looked like he had no idea on how to run the playbook whatsoever. They weren't really running the football. They weren't really trying to win the football game. And for Doug Pederson to say that, Nate Sudfeld deserved to have some snaps, we were trying to win the football game. Those are two completely different things right there. It's one thing for him to deserve some snaps. Sure, if you guys were getting blown out, let's say 21-0, all right, 21-3, fine. I would have put Nate Sudfeld in there. The game would have been over, all right? There was no way that the Eagles were going to be able to make that up in the fourth quarter. You guys were only down by 3, all right? Only down by 3. And then it ended up becoming down by 10. You still had a chance. Oh, man. And look, as a Giants fan, I don't know how I should feel. Like, I get why Doug Pederson ended up doing that, sabotaging the division right there to go from the 9th pick to the 6th pick. Ooh, what a dramatic, pick. I mean, who are you going to end up picking up? Jamar Chase? When you could have picked up Justin Jefferson and you botched that trade. You botched that pick right there. Were you going to pick up Zach Wilson? Justin Fields? Cause more quarterback controversy? I don't know. I don't know what's going on in Philadelphia right now. I'm glad I'm not a Philadelphia Eagles fan, but at the same token, I am highly pissed off, man. I know there's plenty of my friends that are Giants fans that I cannot repeat the words that they have told me because pretty vulgar. But yeah, Doug Pederson, I don't know if he's going to have a job after this. I wouldn't be surprised if him meeting up with Jeffrey Lurie, the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles, he lets him go, because I think they're supposed to meet tomorrow. As for, just like the final meeting of the year right before they get dismissed. But I don't know if that might have been Doug Pederson's last game as the Eagles coach, especially with the fractured locker room the fractured relationship he had with Carson Wentz. But I don't know how you go back into that locker room and you look people in the face saying that you were trying to win the football game by putting in a quarterback that looked like he had no business being there whatsoever. All right, I tweeted out saying that this guy looked like he was playing JV varsity football last year. That's how bad he looked. He looked really bad. He looked like he had no business being there. He looked scared. And in my opinion, I mean, you just made whatever case you wanted to make for Nate Sudfeld, you just made it look worse for him, and you just pretty much embarrassed him. So yeah, now Washington is now going into the postseason, and they're going to be facing Tampa Bay. Now, speaking of Tampa Bay got the wild card. Tom Brady became the second quarterback ever to have 40 touchdowns with 2 different franchises in a single season. Obviously, number 1 would have been Peyton Manning, when Peyton Manning went to Denver after he departed from Indianapolis. But yeah, you're going to have those games going on. The Browns, for the first time ever, well, not for the first time, for the first time in 18 years, yes, 18 years, the Browns are going to the postseason. Last time they made the postseason was in 2002, and they're going to be facing their rivals, the Pittsburgh Steelers. You have the Ravens facing the Titans. The Packers have a first-round bye, same thing as the Kansas City Chiefs. All right. Who else? Trying to think. Where is the rest of this playoff format? The wild card round. The Bills are facing the Colts. Ooh, that should be a good matchup right there. Bills and Colts on Saturday. That 1:00 game. I don't know. I mean, Josh Allen has been on fire. I mean, he blew out the Miami Dolphins by 30. By 30. All right. This guy's he did me a lot of wonders in fantasy football this year, but couldn't get the job done. But yeah, Josh Allen is looking phenomenal. You're gonna have the Rams and the Seahawks. Ugh, man, that's not a good matchup for Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson always has a hard time when he faces the LA Rams. Always apply a whole ton of pressure. Plus, they're really good at stopping the run. I don't see how the Seahawks end up coming out of that game winning. Like I said, Buccaneers and Washington, Ravens and Titans, Bears and Saints. Oof. Remember the last time when the Bears and the Saints ended up playing? You ended up having a forgot his name. I think it was Mims, if I can remember his name correctly. There was a scuffle between what's it called, the cornerback of the New Orleans Saints and the wide receiver from the Chicago Bears. So cornerback from the New Orleans Saints ended up spitting on wide receiver of the Chicago Bears. So that should be interesting. That's a little mini storyline over there. I highly doubt Mitchell Trubisky is going to be able to walk out of New Orleans winning that game. I think Drew Brees moves on to the divisional round, and once these teams move on to the divisional round, it's going to get really, really enticing. Look, I got for the divisional round, like I said, Bills, Rams. I got Rams winning, beating Seahawks up in Seattle. Buccaneers right now have the highest. Actually, no, that'll be the Saints, but Buccaneers are going to be the Washington. I think even though no Mike Evans, right, you still have Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, Chris Godwin, Scotty Miller, the whole nine. So expect Tom Brady to annihilate Washington. Ravens and Titans, that's going to be one of the closer games right there. You're going to have, Derrick Henry and the Tennessee Titans against Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, that's going to be really exciting right there. It's going to be a real good question to see who's going to get the lead first and who's going to be able to sustain it. Bears and Saints, I mean, that's going to be the highest betting favorites. The Saints have the highest betting favorites there. They have a -10. So they're favorites to win the game by at least 10 points, which is pretty crazy. Drew Brees back at the helm. Alvin Kamara. I mean, they look pretty good right now. And then the Sunday Night Football game at 8:15, Browns and Steelers. I can't wait for that matchup. I mean, it's going to be gruesome. I mean, Myles Garrett and his defense, along with Denzel Ward and Baker Mayfield leading the helm on offense with Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. You know, you have Austin Hooper there, David Njoku against Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers, they they allow Ben to get a rest week at this point, right? But it should be pretty interesting to see because Ben hasn't been looking the greatest. Maybe that week off is going to do him wonders right there, be able to rejuvenate his arm strength, his arm talent. Juju Smith-Schuster needs to ball out because, this is going to be gruesome. When these two step into Heinz Field again, I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm going to favor the Steelers, but not by much at all. I'm going to favor it by 2 points. I really got it at this point. 24-26 Steelers. All right, guys. So that's going to cover everything on NFL Week 17. All right. Doug Pederson, whatever you do, man, just don't go into New York City. All right. Any people that you see with that giant blue, run the other way because they're highly pissed off at you. All right. You cost us a season. All right. We wanted to go to the playoffs to begin with, not get the 11th pick in the draft. All right, guys. You reached this far into the video, to the audio. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys at a later date. Peace, guys.